5 essential open water swimming tips for triathletes. If you want to learn a little bit more about conquering probably what I think is the most feared and undervalued area of a triathlon, and most people have issues in the open water just from observation and years of coaching. So I'm going to dive in through a little tutorial with some visuals, and hopefully it'll give you some things to try out, certainly when the spring comes in the Northern Hemisphere, to get out there and apply for in your next 70.3 Olympic distance, whatever you have. Tune in, I hope you enjoyed it. Here in open water swimming is not swimming in a straight line, and most of us don't know how to correct that. So here's some great footage of a Ironman swim. In order to combat that, we count your strokes. Count every hand entry on your right hand, starting at 10, sight. If you're still on course, you can extend that to 12 to 14 until you're going off course. Similarly, if you're going the other way and you're missing direction, bring it down to 8 or even 6 strokes before you look up. Of super high cadence of a swimmer, about 80 to 90 strokes per minute. Very good open water swimmer. So he will adopt this style in choppy conditions, and he was one of the fastest triathletes in the world out of the water. Sitting right directly behind, sort of 20-30 centimeters behind the person in front, their toes, and this is something you have to practice with occasional little sighting every 5 to 10 strokes of the swimmer behind. It'll keep you in check. In open water is the ability to draft behind others, and this is a classic example to practice some really nice arrowhead drafting with 3 or 4 other swimmers, where you have a lead swimmer taking the reins, and then there's 2 behind and 2 swimming similarly on the hip of the other swimmer, and you can practice your drafting technique. Really great use of racecraft experience, and you should take turns making sure that someone leads each time. The 4th tip I want to give you is about your goggles steaming up, and you know this happens to you most of the time when you go open water and you get super frustrated. Sometimes in the pool, you want to get some little anti-fog spray. You don't want to use just spit. A couple of dollops of anti-fog spray in the morning, have it in your race bag, go down to the water, rinse it out, and then pop them straight on your head. Don't touch them with your fingers. It creates a nice little seal, a little layer on the inside of your glass, and they work, your inside of your lens, it works pretty well. Another thing around the temperature around your head, the sea sometimes can be bitterly cold. Little tip, double up on your cap. So put a training cap on the bottom, goggles on, and then put your race cap color, because you have to use the race color cap for your age group or your professional field or whatever color it is. And that way you double up on your the layer on your head, which keeps you, that's where you lose most of your heat, and those cold 13-degree sea swims. It's helped me out loads of times before. Another tip is to simulate the start of the swim, which is the area where people get really overwhelmed and quite high heart rate and breath rate, and then it ruins the rest of their swim. You've really got to try and stick out the first 300 to 400 meters. Here's why. Most people guide really hard, experienced swimmers, at the start of a triathlon, because they know it's going to settle, and then they get away from the weaker swimmers, and generally people towards the upper quarter of the race swim in a straighter line. So if you can simulate this in training, you will then prepare yourself for race starts, which means you can actually swim to your ability and jump straight on some feet after about 300 to 400 meters. So you just need to commit to that period of time. To practice that in the pool, I would do sets of 100 meters, take out really fast, settling straight into 100 meters, controlled, steady, followed by 100 meters, very easy. I'd do that 3 to 5 times through to really get your body used to going out really hard, but then controlling the pace and the stroke rate in the second 100. And in that 100 meters, I would also do some head lifts, sighting in a pool every 4th or 5th stroke, to then get used to what it feels like swimming behind another person. Even better if you can do it with a group of 3 of you and you draft each other. That way you get used to the bubbles in your face around your breathing, and then turn at the wall, of course, and jump back on the feet. Give that a go. Those tips will help you certainly navigate the next open water swim race you've got. And yeah, it has certainly helped me and helped my athletes. So let me know how you get on.